All right, here we go. TK Kirkland, welcome back.
Vlad in the building. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. I've been waiting for this to happen for like 6 months.
Man, you, the fans, I just love I love what has happened. Like it's like a dream come true. I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and talk about that. Since last time, there's been this kind of weird anomaly that's happened on the VladTV YouTube channel where no matter what video I put up, no matter what interview, no matter what topic, there'll be literally dozens of people in the comments claiming that you're taking credit for whatever happened in that video.
I love it. I love it. And I've been talking about it with Godfrey. We're talking about it with Charlemagne. We talk about you all the time. And they say, so what happened? And I explained to people that it got to be because I look young. They don't realize how old I am. See, because I think that's the confusion. Is because when I sit back and hear some of the things I've accomplished, I'm even amazed. And if I was the average person, I would say, oh, that motherfucker lying. So when I said things to you, 3 years ago, and people have seen the proof, right? From video or interview, they're like, oh shit, he's really not lying. Like I was on an interview today and I explained to one of my greatest moments people don't know about is that when Nelson Mandela got out of prison, I was his MC at the LA Coliseum, me and Tone Loc.
Oh.
Yes. That's powerful. No matter what I've done in this world, that slam dunks everything.
Yeah, that's a big deal right
That's
there.
That's a big deal, big deal. And back in those days, when I was coming up, I even raised money for the great Maxine Waters when she was running for council woman in Los Angeles, California, before she went on way to Washington, D.C. But these stories I hear, right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an old guy. I just look young.
Right. How old are you right now?
I'm almost 60.
Wow, you're 59?
I'm 58.
58.
I'll be 59
okay.
in like a couple months.
58.
Yes.
Look great.
Thank you, sir.
In good shape.
In good shape.
Skin looks good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey.
Let me be a motivation to all you young people who say, I can't believe TK. Yo, let me tell you, it's been a great life. Don't get it wrong. I have my valleys in life, but the goal is I truly take care of myself, and I've been truly blessed to have great memories.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
But yo, but just the effect of
the
TK Kirkland, the TK Kirkland effect.
Yes, the TK Kirkland effect.
Like for example, we did an article about how, Drake and Chris Brown squashed their beef.
Right.
And of course, in the comments, the TK Kirkland was the one who sat them down.
I love it. I love it.
Like someone sent me, there's a comment on one of the videos. I don't even remember which one at this point. It says, there is no Wikipedia on TK because he's done too much shit. They can't fit it all in.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. Keep them all coming, ladies and gentlemen. We love it.
Right. And I remember when Tekashi 6ix9ine started snitching on everybody.
Right.
Someone in the comments said, I don't know, this is the only thing TK Kirkland's not taking credit for. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with this shit.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yep. Yeah, and you know what? Like Easy E's to always say, all publicity is good publicity. That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited that out of all the things we've accomplished, you coming to see me perform is what's going to be amazing.
Right, because I'm about to go watch you tonight. I've never actually seen you do stand-up before.
I can't wait, my man. This is like there's certain people you get psyched up for. Some people just motivate to go to another level, right? This is one of them days. And I'm excited so that when you come back, you can tell the world what you witnessed.
Yeah, yeah, can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait. Well, the TK Kirkland effect. If you guys don't know about it, just literally go through any VladTV video and scroll through the comments, and you will absolutely see dozens, if not hundreds, of comments
Yes.
about TK Kirkland, because apparently you've been involved in every major event in all of human history.
Yes. Polio, the beginning of vaccine for
Right.
for VD. I've done it all. Right.
Right. You were there for Jesus. You were
Right.
there.
Right. Hey, let me tell you, I look at it as an honor, to believe it or not, because what I also love that even the people who were doubting, when Godfrey came on, my man, and told the world that, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, TK's not lying. And that right there is just bam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, you're actually being honored for the Red Fox Award of Humor.
Yes. And the great thing about the Red Fox, at first I thought it was a bullshit call, to be honest with you. They reached out to me, and I had all these demands, Vlad. I said, give me a private plane with a helicopter on top. Then I want the hotel with another car, following that car. Because I get sometimes get calls where people just be bullshit. They ain't got the money. And my man, everything I said, they was agreeing to it. So I said, no, my man, I'm only playing. I really thought y'all was full of shit. We good. Let's make it happen. So we're doing it on November 23rd. I can't wait to wear the white tux jacket with the tie, with my little specs, to dress up a little bit, because I work so much, I don't get a chance to enjoy my clothes. And I'm so looking forward to this event. I'm truly excited. And the thing about Red Fox is good, right? When I started in comedy, I was trying to holler at this girl back in the day in the late 80s. And Red Fox pulled one of my bitches. I'll never forget that. She said, listen, you're a young and upcoming comedian, but I'm messing with Fox. I was like, damn. She was bad too, bro. So salute to Red Fox for pulling one of my almost girlfriends.
Did you have a relationship with Red Fox at all?
No, we never met. It was just only through that young lady. Because I'm glad she was honest when she said that, I'm going to go out with Red Fox, So it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Red Fox is, well, when you look at sort of like who learned from whom, it seems like Eddie learned from Richard Pryor.
Right.
And Richard Pryor learned from Red Fox.
I totally agree.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that would be the way it would go. And it's amazing how all those guys, Rudy Ray Moore, Paul Mooney, a lot of comics that people don't know about or don't know the history, who were phenomenal, that's not here anymore. That was just awesome when I was going through this journey back when we was coming up. Like, we used to hang out at the Comedy Act Theater before Sinbad was huge. Keenan Ivory Wayans, Martin Lawrence, Tommy Davidson, Jamie Foxx. I'm talking about all of us was in the same building, bringing the heat. Yeah. And to have Robin Harris at that time being one of the greatest MCs you could have imagined. Like, he really to this day was one of, I'm not saying great stand-up, but great MC, because he saw the whole room. And that's where I got all my training from. I was able to see him for 5 years and got all my training on clean material, dirty material. A lot of comics don't know how to MC. Like, there's a difference between MC and being a comedian. An MC is master of ceremonies. And you wear a shirt, a tie, or a jacket, and you move the show along. It's not about you. It's about the artist, and you keep it going. So those type of experiences have helped me to be in this business for over 35 years. Because I do it all. I do churches. I do clean shows. I tour with Patti LaBelle, the Whispers, everybody, and done clean act. It's just that a lot of people haven't got a chance to see me do a clean show, and I pretty much like doing clean material, to be honest with you.
I got to see that, a clean TK Kirkland
Oh yeah,
show.
easy. I could do it easy, like it's nothing.
So you can't even say T to the motherfucking K. You got to say T to the mother.
Yeah, no, I don't even do that. It's a whole different style.
Okay.
It's a whole different style. And it's like when I was coming up in college and my degree is in speech communications. And one of the things is you're taught to give a speech differently based on your audience. So when I do Afro-American audiences, I come raw and right in your face. When I do whites or Spanish, I switch it up just a little bit. When you're famous, like a Eddie Murphy, they come to see what you're famous for. But on your way coming up, and pretty much people don't know you, you have to be able to adjust to any style if you want to have longevity.
Right, because you've been doing stand-up for how long now?
35 years.
35 years.
35.
Wow.
It's a long time. And made a living out of it.
Well, you mentioned MCs. I think I was interviewing Russell Simmons. We were talking about Def Comedy Jam, and he was saying how the key to really that show blowing up the way it did was Martin Lawrence was the MC for a bunch of years.
Yes.
And that was the best MC I've ever seen.
Right, and Martin learned from Robin Harris.
Ah, okay.
See, everything he did, he learned from Robin. One time was an episode, he came out with his clothes off, with his shorts. He's supposed to have been in the dressing room, and he came out because somebody was doing something, and he came out half dressed. Robin Harris. All that came from Robin Harris.
Okay, because I just interviewed Faison Love, and he came up under Robin Harris as well.
Yes.
In fact, he actually did the voice for Bebe's Kids. He did the Robin Harris voice in that movie.
Okay.
And he said something very interesting that I never really thought of. He said that he looked up to Robin Harris so much that when he first heard of Bernie Mac, he didn't like him at first because he felt that Bernie was doing a Robin Harris impression.
When I met Bernie for the first time, we didn't hit it off because I thought he was doing Robin. I didn't know he was doing Bernie.
Yeah, they have a similar kind of style.
And I was like, pfft. And we had a standoff.
Wow. I never looked at it that way. I like Bernie for what he had. I never saw the two actually being the same. Bernie had, they both was country. Okay, I could see they both had a country thing about them. But Bernie had his style of country. Robin Harris had his style of country. And it was great to see two unattractive men pulling hoes. See, because they wasn't players, at least into my book, they wasn't players. But then as Bernie started getting money, doing his thing and style, he got creative. Robin, I would love to have seen what his career, what would have happened if he wouldn't have died.
Right, because he died at like 32 or something like that?
No, he died. Yeah, he was,
hold on.
How old
36
was
years old.
How
36. He was 36.
He was 36? Wow.
Yeah.
And that was in 91, I think, right?
90. He lived 1953 to 1990.
Okay, 90, yeah. So, I was young.
Right, and I just want to say, because I don't want to just leave it on a bad note like this.
Yes.
Faison at one point had a TV show that he was doing with Bernie Mac, and the two of them were supposed to be best friends on the show. So the director said, "Okay, you guys got to go hang out and work out your differences."
Right.
And and he told me like this one thing that he'll never forget. He said, Bernie Mac said, "Look, you ain't got to respect me, but you're not going to disrespect me."
Right. Yeah, Bernie was a good guy. He was truly a good guy. And the thing I liked about Faison, he was like my little brother too. And if you ever get him back on here again, you make sure you tell him that, how did you get back into stand-up? See, because he was sitting around, because TV made Faison soft. He was lazy. We'd be on the phone, he'll be out shopping, and talking about sending that to the house. He'll laugh. He's gonna tell you. We were on the phone talking. He'd be talking to the salesman. Like that was his thing. Send that to the house, and we always joked about that. And I convinced him to start doing stand-up again. True story, because he wasn't working. And I said, "Yo, do you know that if you would have kept working from Fridays, that you would have been on top of the world?" But he took and got lazy instead of going after it. True story. So I talked to him, and ever since he's been doing stand-up comedy, back on the road again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he tours constantly.
Yeah.
He tours constantly, and I never knew his impressions were that good. We like
Me and Q both hate. I was like, why? Because they called me in, was like, hey, they added an extra scene. I was like, what? You're gonna be in the cabinet? I was like, Q, we gotta shoot this. What the fuck? Why do we? Who's coming up with this shit? I don't know, but they say they won't shoot it anyway.
Like he did this Ice Cube impression,
Right.
this Chris Tucker impression.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't know he could do impressions either. The only person that out clicked that I thought was good with impressions was Godfrey. But to know that Faison could do that, that's interesting to know.
oh yeah.
Because we go way back when he used to drive this old ass 1990 maybe minivan that was damn near on one wheel from San Diego. Good kid, good kid.
Yeah. Well, in our interview, he said that Hannibal Buress is about as funny as his shoe falling off.
Ooh.
Comedy is politics.
Okay.
All day long. That's why Hannibal Buress has a fucking career. This fuck is about funny as my goddamn shoe falling off.
And he just gets a lot of work because of politics.
I think so. And it's not to hate on Mr. Burgess. I'm just a true fan of stand-up comedy. And my definition of stand-up is, can you come in the room and other comics fear the style of comedy because you're that good? That's my definition of the baddest motherfucker on the mic. But we
Okay.
live in a world that is not fair. I understand life. And it's not fair. You got to go get what you got to get because no one's going to give it to you. Now, Mr. Burgess, he's doing his thing. He's making money, but you take all that away. So you can hide behind a TV show. But when we get our ass in that club, can you bring it?
Okay, so apart from yourself, who are the baddest stand-up comedians you've seen in person that just completely murder every show they do?
I've been talking about this for the last 2 months, and it's motherfucking Earthquake.
Really?
Let me tell you something. That man will shut the motherfucker down. Earthquake is unbelievable. And his cadence, his style. See, I'm into styles. His style is unbelievable. The other comedian I would say that awesome, but he only has like 15, 18 strong minutes is JB Smooth. If you can see JB Smooth, now I'm giving him 18 minutes. After 18 minutes, it's a wrap. If we was in the stock market, we would have to say sell, sell, sell because we're about to lose. But that first 15, he got this thing about this horse riding this horse, and unbelievable.
Huh? Because I've asked this question to a lot of comedians. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Who's on your Mount Rushmore?"
Yes, sir.
Of comedy, and I've asked this to Godfrey, and I think he said like, hold on, let me see who he said. I
Okay.
don't want to just put words in his mouth because people get sensitive about this.
Right.
Rushmore. Hold on a second.
And while you're doing, I always tell people, no matter what comic has come up now, no matter how famous you think you are, no one had the persona and the power and the superstardom of Eddie Murphy.
Okay, I agree.
Let me
Well-
tell you, he was the man.
Right, because he was just ultra talented. He wasn't just a comedian; he was also a singer and everything.
But he didn't look like your normal comic. He wasn't fat. He wasn't goofy. He was a man from New York who had swag and style. And I always tell people, when you're a rock star, when men want to be like you and women want to fuck you.
Right.
And
Well, like Godfrey, his top, his Mount Rushmore of comedians is Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Paul Mooney, and Bill Cosby.
right. And that's politically correct. That's Hollywood type shit to me. Yeah, I tell Godfrey he's corny. That's corny. Yeah.
Okay, so your Mount Rushmore is Earthquake, JB Smoove.
No. They're not my Mount Rushmore. It's just comedians who I like. If I had to have my Mount Rushmore, it will only be one person. Eddie Murphy.
That's it.
Period.
So it would just be four versions of Eddie Murphy.
Let me
on
tell you,
the
I've
mountain.
never seen nobody. I'm going with the whole. See, it's like getting into the Hall of Fame, right? You gotta have certain accomplishments under your belt, certain type of championships, etc. But when it comes to Eddie, from longevity to business to superstardom, no one is in his league when it comes to that.
Well, how do you feel? Because Eddie Murphy's coming back out. He's going to
Yes.
do a Netflix stand-up.
Yes.
As well as Coming to America 2,
Yes.
the Rudy Ray Moore movie.
Right.
He's about to be on fire.
Yeah,
once
he's
again.
about to be on fire.
He apologized for some of the gay jokes that he did in Raw and Delirious.
He did?
He did.
Wow. I wouldn't apologize. But this is a sensitive world. You see what they did to Kevin Hart?
Yeah. With the Oscars?
Yeah, they shut that shit down.
Yeah. Have you ever apologized for a joke?
No,
Never.
no. But I do LBGTQ jokes though. But I do it in a way that empowers them because I find the LBGTQ fascinating because I'm like, who the fuck is their agent? Who was going out, sitting down with these people, convincing them to cross over? Look at Lil Nas X, right? They said, Lil Nas, listen, we never had a #1 black country singer. You sign here today, I'll give you the #1 album in the country, in the country charts for 3 months. I'll get you on Ellen DeGeneres, and we'll give you a parade and millions of dollars. And what happened? Millions of dollars, Ellen DeGeneres, the #1 country song or album for 3 months.
Well, in fact, Lil Nas X's Old Town Road just went diamond. The first song in 2019
Thank
to
you.
go diamond.
You see what
and Old Town Road is the longest running #1 song in the history of music
What?
right now. Yeah, he, I believe like Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men had the record before and he
Yeah.
beat that.
Wow. The LBGTQ ain't playing. And they go after everybody. See, I talk about this in my show about the LBGTQ. You know, they're going after Cam Newton
Really? For what?
because Cam Newton dressed like a bitch.
Okay.
They like people like that. They going after Antonio Brown. That's why they traded Antonio Brown from Pittsburgh.
Really?
Listen to me. Antonio Brown was making it seem like he was arguing with Ben, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The LBGTQ had been trying to get Antonio to sign. Antonio didn't want to sign. So he went to Oakland. So when he got to Oakland, he didn't know that the LBGT headquarters was right there in San Francisco. It was close. Bam, right? So
Okay.
they tried to get him to cross over to be the LBGTQ. So one night they broke into his condo. Remember he was talking about he couldn't play because of the helmets?
Mm-hmm.
Because the LBGTQ snuck in his house 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and had dicks all around his face, hitting him in his temples to sign. So the next day he was like, hey, I need my old helmet to play. So he left. They caught him at a party downtown San Francisco. Remember he said he couldn't play because his feet were swollen?
Mm-hmm.
They took his shoes off downtown San Francisco and made him run 20 blocks. So it really wasn't, that's how he messed up his feet. So when he didn't sign, he went to New England. They didn't have a round trip ticket to get there that fast. But when they got to New England to Tom Brady, they had a meeting with Mr. Kraft. They said, Mr. Kraft, you don't get Antonio Brown to sign with us, we're gonna bring them charges up on your ass that you got in Miami with the little Asian girl playing with your little hairy ball muscles. Mr. Kraft said, oh my God, I can't have that. Antonio Brown gotta go. And after that, what did? They put cases on Antonio Brown. The same shit that happened in 2017, you never heard it with Pittsburgh. You never heard it when he was Oakland. You only heard it when he signed with Pittsburgh because all gloves is off. They had to get him. I just think that's an excellent story. Even though, ladies and gentlemen, I made it all up, but the shit's still funny.
Okay. The world according to TK. We mentioned Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Since last time, Richard Pryor's bodyguard
Yeah.
did an interview, I believe on Comedy Hype,
Right.
where he said that Richard Pryor had put a hit out on Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Who used to write jokes for him.
Yes.
For a very long time.
Right.
The two of them definitely were very close.
Mm-hmm.
He claimed that Paul Mooney had raped Richard Pryor Jr.
Yes.
and he had put a hit out on him
Yes.
in retaliation, which obviously never happened.
Right.
Well, number one, did you know Richard Pryor?
No, I didn't know him. I met him a couple times, but he wasn't friends. I couldn't pick up the phone and call him, but no, I didn't know. But we met.
Okay. Did you know Richard Pryor Jr.? Or do
No,
you know
I
Richard
didn't.
Pryor Jr.?
No,
Okay.
sir.
Do you know Paul Mooney?
I know Paul Mooney.
Okay. What is your take on this whole thing? Because Paul Mooney's people said that it's not true.
Well, here's my thing. Paul Mooney canceled all the shows.
Right.
I know Paul Mooney has 2 kids. Twins, right. So it's 2 sides to my story, right? It's 2 sides. When people always ask me as I was coming up, do you think such and such is gay? And I would tell them, if anybody knows that answer, that means they was in the room. So I wasn't in the room. I don't know. But that's a fair answer. I don't know. I always say that once a man leaves me and walks out the room, I cannot say what kind of man that man is. But if you go off how a person responds to a crisis or a situation, that pretty much can tell you your answer. So when Richard Pryor canceled all his shows, not Richard Pryor, Paul Mooney
Yeah.
canceled all his shows, that's a sign of guilt. Because I would have took it and went on stage and talked about it and milked the fuck out of it if it wasn't true.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Because when people accuse me of certain things or try to attack me, I turn it right back around. I make an
Exactly.
article out of it. I talk about it in interviews. Like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. When you know it's not true, but when something's true, you hide from it, you run. Most
Right.
people.
Well, to be fair, I just interviewed Pierre,
Okay.
the comedian.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
And he was on tour with Paul Mooney.
Okay.
And he confirmed to me in our interview that Paul Mooney has dementia.
What are you looking for? What do you want from Paul Mooney? He's 79 years old, senile, whatever. Dementia, you got dementia coming
So
in.
does he have dementia?
Yeah, the dementia's kicking in on him and stuff
So
yeah.
give me an example of dementia with Paul Mooney. Like, what kind of things would you see?
He's not really performing anymore, so his mind is not. He remembers his act like that. It'll come back a little bit. With me, I know Paul Mooney since about 1992.
Oh, okay.
So, I used to come watch him at the Comedy Store all the time. So I had to kind of, reacclimate myself with him a couple times. And, Paul, what's up, dude? This, that, and then now he knows me. So you have to kind of be around him a little more for him to catch who you are, stuff like that.
Yes, I heard he does.
Yeah, that's true. And
Yes.
I asked him to explain it, like what that means. He said, well, listen, I've known Paul for like 25 years. And when I meet him, he kind of doesn't remember who I am. I have to kind of remind him, and then he kind of gets it, but then sometimes he doesn't.
Right.
Paul was really just more of an MC for this comedy tour. He was just trying to help out the younger comedians.
Okay.
His dementia doesn't allow him to do his comedy act anymore and so forth. So
Wow.
he canceled his shows, but he wasn't like a headliner. He wasn't a stand-up. He
Okay.
was just there.
That is true.
part of a
Yep.
bigger-
That's true. Yep, that's true.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I was supposed to actually do an interview with Paul. We had been emailing each other back
Right,
and
that
forth.
would've
He
been
said he was a big
interesting.
fan. It would have been great, yeah. He
Man.
said he's a big fan of my Lunel interviews.
Yes.
And he wanted to do it. I hope he still does it. I'm a big fan.
Yes, yeah, Paul Mooney's the man, yo. When he was in I'm quite sure I met him after his prime, but one of the greatest things he ever told me when I first started in '85 was that there was no substitute for experience, and I always took that to heart.
Oh yeah, I remember I was hanging out with Godfrey one night, and he was explaining how him and Jerry Seinfeld were talking.
Yes.
Jerry said, well, how many years you been doing comedy? And at the time, Godfrey said 5. He goes, okay, you're 5 years old in comedy.
Right.
That's it. You're a 5-year-old.
Right.
Don't think you're any older than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's all you are.
Yep.
When you've been doing comedy for 20 years, that's when you could say that you're an adult.
I totally
in comedy.
agree. I like that. I like that analogy. Yep, I really do.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Paul. He's an old man.
Yeah, God bless him.
Hopefully he won't get Bill Cosby'd. End up in jail in his 80s or
right, 'cause
whatever else.
That's interesting when you talk about Bill, you know, and I'm sad that that happened to him. It's just that what men got to understand, and I talk about pussy all the time, you got to respect it. You have to respect it and know that it's just as much as it's enjoyable, it's also dangerous, and it can put you in jail. And women have the power that you could be walking down the street, Vlad, a woman can look at you, tell a cop, that man right there raped me. They will put handcuffs on you, take you to jail. Now you got to spend thousands of dollars to prove that that lady was wrong.
Yeah. Welcome to the Me Too era.
Right. That's scary. So my thing with me is to the gentlemen and people listening, be careful and make sure that whatever you do, you have true consent. Be a gentleman. If a woman tells you she's not interested, know that there's other women you could talk to. I've been hearing that men have been smacking women and being disrespectful if a girl turns them down. That's crazy to me.
One of the biggest topics right now is the R&B singer Tank.
Yes.
He said that men giving oral sex to another man does not make them gay.
Right.
I do not co-sign this statement.
Well, here's the thing. Tank is a good friend of mine, known since he was a baby. And we met the other day, was walking down in the rain, and I saw him. He was in Times Square. We did a video together, and I saw my Instagram blowing up, Vlad. I was like, oh, shit. Tank hot, but I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't read what people were saying because I was on my way to another interview. But every time I kept seeing, I saw the numbers going up. But I actually, once I read everything, I saw the eggplants. They talk about dicks and all that kind of stuff. Talk about TK, be careful of my man. But we also ran into each other again today, and I also seen the interview. In the interview, as he was saying, he didn't say him with dicks. The young lady had asked him about a guy she was dating who was a liar. That came up, and that's how it really pretty much got turned around, to be fair. See, I've known him since he was literally 18, 17 years old, Vlad. Not saying
like
that.
On tour with Aaliyah and everything?
No. He comes from a crew of people that's from the streets that I used to roll with back in the day. And this guy used to manage him. And we all knew each other, and I watched him come up as a youngster. So I know for a fact he's not built like that. That's something that I could truly stand up and be proud to say he ain't moving like that. Because the people, if he was even something like that, the people that I know will have his head.
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being gay. If you're gay,
There's nothing
live your
wrong with
truth.
being gay unless you come from my era. Even from my era, and let me explain to people what I mean by that. I'm not against gay people. It's just that back in our day, gay people knew their position. They came out about 12:05 and was back in the house about 4:30, 4:45. Even if they stayed up past their curfew and you was on your way to work, they would apologize to you on the way coming in. Like, oh, look, I'm not supposed to be in. I'm going in now. Bye. Now, they out here doing their thing. And am I against it? Nope. I have to understand it. All I'm saying is you could be gay, but you don't have to advertise it. You could be gay, but if you're entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to my opinion, I should not be condemned. You should not be condemned because of the way you feel. And that's all I feel about that. I don't think a person should put us down either if we're against it. Just like I feel like gay people at the same time don't have to announce every time they come out the closet. And 2, how big is this motherfucking closet?
Well, look, if you give head to a man,
What, you don't say you're gay?
you're gay.
Absolutely.
You're gay.
I don't care if you fall on it and then missed your mouth and hit you in your ear.
If you are actually actively doing it,
Right. Even if you came in
You're
the
gay.
area with your hands and got there and said, I can't do it,
you're gay.
You're gay.
Now, if you're in prison and you get raped, you could say, I'm not gay, I was raped by a bunch of men.
Right,
against my
right,
will."
right. But
But
if you got raped in
it-
prison and you said, when we hooking up again,
Right. Or if you're the one that doing the raping, then yeah, you're gay.
right. God bless. Let me tell you, man. And to the people listening to me and Vlad, we just come from a different era. Please respect it the way we respect the way the way you feel in your opinions. That's all this is. We have to respect you guys. You have to respect us how I feel too, because we have thoughts and the way we feel and the way we see things, and that's it. And there's no crime in how we feel. We are entitled to see how we feel, Vlad.
Well, since last time that we talked, Malik Yoba came out and said that he's attracted to transgenders.
Wow. I saw that interview and I was blown away.
Do you know Malik?
I know him. And I was like, wow, man. And again, I was saying, who the fuck is the LBGTQ's agent? Who the fuck paid Malik to come up to the Breakfast Club to have that type of discussion? Why couldn't something like that be kept quietly behind doors since you said you've been this way since you were 16?
Well, I think what happened was there was a transgender who claimed that the two of them were having, paid for sex when the transgender was underage,
Okay.
right?
All right.
And I guess this happened a very long time ago during like the New York Undercover era. So
Okay.
this is somewhat of a Me Too kind of situation. Like here's
Okay.
some situation
Right.
from like 20-something years ago that no one could ever prove or disprove.
Okay.
So it almost seemed like he was trying to get in front of something that was on its way.
Understand.
And I interviewed him myself. And I remember when we talked, and this is our first time really sitting down and speaking.
Yes.
We were talking about certain actors that I've had on my show that have had issues with black men wearing dresses and that type of thing. And he said, well, I've worn dresses before. You know, he actually had a Broadway show where he was all these different characters, and he was a woman, he was a transgender, and so forth. And he said, I don't mind wearing dresses. In fact, I want to push my acting by playing difficult roles like that.
So my one-man show, Harlem to Hollywood, I play over 15 characters. My show is set in a therapist's office. One of the main characters is Gladys Rosenberg, who's an old Jewish woman. She's a therapist. That's me. I play 2 trans characters in it. I play an old Spanish man. I play an old Italian guy. I play an old Jamaican woman. So for me, we're vessels. And the goal is to show humanity in all of its fullness.
And then a few months later, all the transgender stuff started coming
See,
out.
I'm
People
not.
were-
I'm not an actor. Let me tell you something. I know who I am. I'm in the streets too much to play that type of shit. Even though I do what I do and travel and people love and I do what I do, I ain't putting no fucking dress on because I have too much pride for myself as a man for anyone to ever say that to me. I'm with my kids or with a woman or somewhere privately and somebody said, yeah, that's what the fuck you hit on that bitch, you sold out, motherfucker. I ain't doing that, Vlad.
If we talk about the whole Me Too thing, I think the biggest news right now is Cuba Gooding Jr.
He's just a fucking fool.
I mean, last I checked, there was like 13 to 15 women now accusing him of sexual
The numbers gotten
assault
that
or
high?
harassment. Yeah, it's that big. I think it's like 15 now, 15 or 16.
Man. And let me tell people who might believe that he might be a liar. Maybe one, maybe two females, they could lie, right? In a lifetime, because he's an older guy. Yeah, when you get over 15 women, Vlad, accusing you, you can't get 4 or 5 bitches in the room to agree on one thing. So you get 15 women agreeing all on that, you got a problem. And this is what goes back again to my young men in the world. Stack your paper, be a gentleman, and do not touch these women inappropriately.
Here's the issue that I have,
Uh-huh.
right? Because as everyone knows, there's 2 courts of law in America.
Yes.
There's criminal court and there's civil court.
Yes.
Criminal court is when someone commits a crime and there's some sort of jail time associated with it. Civil court is a money situation. Means that someone has committed some sort of crime and people want money out of the situation. Okay? I understand. I understand there's a need for both of these.
Yes, sir.
But Cuba has, let's say, 15 women accusing him of sexual assault. But right now, but this whole time, there hasn't been any criminal charges against him. There was that one woman who's accusing him right now, and there's like a video of him like reaching over or something.
That
and
got dismissed.
What's that?
That one got dismissed.
Oh, got dismissed?
Yeah, that one got dismissed. I
Okay.
remember that one.
So now you have this pylon that happens with these 15 other women,
Right.
but it's all civil cases. None of them are actual criminal cases. And I kind of have a problem with that. I feel like, if you're going to accuse something of, someone of something,
Yes.
it kind of should be formed in a criminal court of law, because in a criminal case, it's much harder to prove a criminal case. It means beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
That jury has to say, we are 90% sure that he did it, and there's really no real doubt in our head.
Yes,
in a
sir.
civil case, it means more likely than not.
Right.
Do I feel that he's 51% guilty and 49% not guilty? Then I'm going to say he's guilty.
Yep,
It's
you're right.
much easier to win a civil case. than a
Definitely
criminal
much
case.
easier.
Definitely much easier.
Yes.
And my whole thing is, when it comes to all these lawsuits about sexual assaults that happened 10, 20 years ago, absolutely no proof or whatever, I feel like unless there's a criminal charge and a conviction, you shouldn't be allowed to do all these civil cases, all these money grabs.
I totally agree.
That's my personal opinion.
And let's go a little deeper. Why don't we start telling these women in the world, don't wait 10, 15 years. If something happens, report it the same day.
Right.
The
Report it
same
right
day,
away.
Right. And in that
Right
way,
away,
men
and-
like us can look at you and say, oh, that man ain't shit, because you should have never did that to a female. So when women wait a long time to bring this to the forefront and people's lives change, even if that person was guilty, that might have made him a better man to start doing right in life. So you come 20, 30 years later to get me? That's wrong. Get me
Oh, yeah.
the same day that we have the problem.
Right, and here's the thing, when it comes to civil cases, if you win a criminal case against someone,
Yes.
then you don't even have to really sue them civilly, because you're automatically guilty
Right.
of that in a civil case.
Yes.
So it's basically just up to the judge to decide how much money you're going to get.
Right, yep.
You
Let
see
me
what
tell
I'm
you,
saying? Well,
I walked
the
through
court
this
system
world,
is the court system. It is
I
what
walked through
it
this
is.
world scared, Vlad. Not petrified, but I'm scared of people, because people can fuck up your life.
Yeah. I ran into Russell Simmons a couple months ago. We were both in a museum in Malibu.
Right.
And, he pulled me aside and he was just like, yo, man, like, he was talking about all the rumors and talking about all the bullshit and
Right.
everything else like that. And, oh, people say that I'm hiding out in Bali and I can't come to the U.S., but here I am talking to you in the U.S. I'm here all the time. And I'm like, well, but selling all your property.
Yeah, and he has only done a low key because, you know, Russell don't usually be on this low key.
No, Russell's high key. Russell's
high key.
Like
you see
red
Russell in
carpet.
something all the time.
Oh, yeah. And I interviewed him literally days before the Me Too accusations came in. I was at his house. We did the interview. And boom, a couple days later, everything just changed in his life.
Isn't that something?
And luckily, he's rich. So he's like, fuck it. I'm just going to go. You know, you're not going to Bill Cosby me. I'm going to go some other country where there's no extradition and hang out there while the coast clears.
Yeah, and let me tell you, to the men out here listening, we talk about Bill. One of the worst mistakes Bill Cosby don't understand about survival. Bill Cosby is worth about like $400 million, maybe more.
Something like that, yeah.
I was taught a long time ago that when you're fighting a case against somebody trying to put you in prison, if you have $400 million, you spend $399 to beat your case. Because you can always get money.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to jail with $400 million in the bank.
Right.
I'm spending every dime to stay on the street.
Well, Jerry Seinfeld has a show called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yes.
Right? And he actually did an interview with Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie actually laid out his negative experiences with Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying how, did you actually watch this?
No, but I know they had their problems.
They had their problems. And he kind of went into it. He kind of explained how he was on stage one day and Bill Cosby was in the audience and he was doing jokes. And I guess he was doing jokes about money, about him being rich or whatever else. And Bill pulled him aside after the show and was like, you're not supposed to be making jokes about money. That's low grade, whatever.
Right.
Here, you need to come see me. I'm performing, next week. I'll show you how comedy is really done.
Right.
And you could tell Eddie was still kind of angry at this exchange. He was like, he would always kind of look down on me and kind of speak down on me like that. And of course, he made fun of it in a stand-up.
Right.
You could tell he still feels a certain type of way. And I remember when I interviewed D.L. Hughley, he had a negative exchange with Bill on the air.
I was doing Kiss FM here. Right after CNN, I was doing Kiss FM. I was doing the morning show. Bill Cosby had called in to promote a gig I think he was having in Connecticut or Pennsylvania. And I was like, Bill don't like me, and I don't particularly care for him. So I'm not gonna, I'll let you guys do the interview. It was for pre-tape. And so a girl named Jackie Reed and a cat named Steve Wilson, who were my co-hosts, started interviewing me, but he was such a dick. For 5 minutes he's been such a dick. I was like, Mr. Cosby, what is it you like for us to know? He said, who is this? I said, this is D.L. Hughley. You say nigga, and I don't like your comedy. And he went in, and I was like, with all due respect, Mr. Cosby, I say nigga, but no co-ed has ever woke up drug with her drawers on backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Where Bill just had a problem with comedians who use the N-word.
Yes.
He had problem with, I remember I interviewed, was it Tamala Jones? Hold on. Yeah, I interviewed Tamala Jones, and she did the movie Booty Call, and she explained how Bill Cosby just totally trashed her and the rest of the cast, saying, this is a disgusting movie, black people aren't just body parts and so forth.
Right.
He thought that we focused on advertising sex, and he missed it. We were talking about safe sex, and it was during the movement of when our people our age were talking about sex. TLC had the condoms over the eye.
Right.
So it was like, you can't stop people from doing what they're going to do, but you can advise them on how to be careful while they're doing it. He didn't get it.
What did he say exactly?
He said this film was disgusting and that it showed that African-American young people only think about body parts and sex, is what he said.
Those were his words.
Those were his words.
Really, really looked down on a lot of people. And at the end of the day, now he's in prison for drugging and raping women.
Because that's what we call a hypocrite, correct?
Yeah.
See, if he wasn't a hypocrite, because here's the truth. Everything he said to Eddie Murphy was true. Everything he did say to D.L. Hughley was true because of the era he came from. Him and even Richard Pryor even had problems because Bill thought his comedy was superior because he thought that was the right side to be on. Not understanding that comedy, what makes comedy so great is that there's so many different comedians for everybody. You got a comedy for every lane of the mentality of people on this earth, from ratchet to sophisticated to highly educated and in between. And that's what makes everything so beautiful. If everybody wanted to be like Bill Cosby, you know what Bill Cosby would say? Oh, everybody's trying to be like me. And that would be a problem.
Did you know Bill Cosby at all?
No, didn't know Bill.
Didn't know Bill.
No, I didn't know Bill.
I'm a fan of Bill Cosby. I mean, Bill Cosby himself, I think, was one of the great all-time stand-ups.
Yes, yes. Now he had his own style with the sweatshirt, sitting down in the chair, telling his stories. He had a rhythm, but after them shows, he'd be pulling bitches with them pills. Hey, baby, come on. Camille, play security. Camille, get the car. I'm gonna take these two hoes in the back. I'll be out in a minute. Because no one's never talked about Camille. See, where the fuck is Camille in all this? To have that many hoes and Camille don't know about it, but I did get it. I think it was an inside information that Camille and Bill Cosby's marriage was an arrangement. She did her thing, he did her thing, and apparently she was supposed to be dating some man in Chicago. And whenever Bill needed her for appearances, she would show. Remember when he went to court, she only came one time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
One time. Now, if this is your wife and how y'all rolling together, bam. You don't really know how it is.
Yeah.
So we just wish him well. Hopefully he'll get out, because who would have ever think that OJ would be playing golf?
And Bill Cosby be sitting in jail.
Isn't that fucking amazing? Think about it. When you think of OJ, with half of the city of Los Angeles chasing this man down the 405 freeway. He had a gun to his head. He could have killed himself. Bill Cosby, OJ Simpson, after all he's gone through, is somewhere right now on Twitter or YouTube or Instagram playing golf.
Yeah.
Amazing story.
Amazing. Did you know OJ at all?
No, I didn't know OJ either.
Okay.
But amazing story. I mean, think about it. There was no room to get out of that. If you saw that on TV before anything happened, you knew what the results were, and you put money on that, no one would have betted that OJ would be on the street one day.
No, with a double murder, especially with an attractive white blonde
Yes.
woman in America, come on.
OJ is on the street, yo. Salute.
I remember, recently there was a whole Amber Geiger case.
Yeah,
the
ooh.
woman who shot that man in his
Yes, sir.
in his own apartment.
Yes.
And there was a lot of controversy because I believe the bailiff was like stroking her hair while
Yes.
she was crying, and then
Right.
the judge went and hugged her afterwards.
Right.
And gave her a Bible.
Right.
And it's like, what type of judge hugs a murderer?
What
Like,
kind of judge does that? And
especially
what kind
a black female judge
Right.
hugged a white woman who just killed a black man in his own
Exactly.
home.
And the brother wanted to hug her.
Yeah, he did hug her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ain't that man? That's and people don't
Well-
listen to the case. When
Yeah.
One, it was the wrong apartment, but a lot of people don't know that boy was sitting down eating ice cream when she shot him.
Yeah. Well, after that story came out, there was an article. I forgot where it was written.
Okay.
But it said that white women's tears is America's drink of choice.
Damn. Hey, what can you say, man? We live in a world that you just don't know what the fuck to say sometimes. You wake up and you're like, hey, get the fuck out of here. Who raised you? That's what it comes down to.
Right. Because you could say what you want. Oh, it was an accident. Oh, no, she was intoxicated. She really thought it was her own door. But I can tell you one thing beyond a shadow of a doubt. If that door finally opened and there was an Asian woman on the other side of that door, that Asian woman would still be alive today.
Absolutely.
But the fact that there was a big black man on the other side of that door
But let's
was
go
the reason
deeper.
why he died.
Okay, let's go deeper with that situation. I'm thinking that the guy and her had relations or words, and it led to that. That's what I'm thinking. That sounds like a woman scorned who came back for revenge or something happened. I think that's what happened. Because can nobody on this earth tell me you pull up, you knew how to get home, you knew where to park your car, you knew what building to go to, and all of a sudden you forget what a fucking apartment you live in? Now I can see if that worked if you missed your exit or you was at a whole different apartment building and you thought this was your apartment. You made it home. Wherever you make your right-hand turn, you right turn. Whatever street you went up, you remembered all that, but you couldn't remember your apartment.
Yeah, well, she got 10 years, and apparently they may be trying to file an appeal.
They appealed it already.
but-
They started.
Well, with the appeal, it actually opens her up to getting up to 99 years.
That's
So
true.
if that appeal does not work out the way she's hoping it's going to work out,
Right.
she may end up with a very serious, long stretch
That's
of
so
time.
true. And I hope it
Me
backfires on her.
personally, I would have just taken my 10 years and said, okay, I think I got off easy. I
Because
just
she would
killed
get
a
out in
man.
3 or 5.
Yeah.
She will only do 3 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, for real. Yeah, if it's a state case, you could do 50%. You can get out in 5 years. easy.
Yeah, in 5 years. And the way they got programs now, maybe 3.
Maybe 3. Maybe 3.
And you want to
Well-
appeal it? Okay.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. I wouldn't take those
Good
odds.
luck. I wouldn't take those odds either.
No, not knowing I could
I
get
would just take-
99.
Yep. I was listening to your stand-ups, your stand-up clips on Spotify this morning.
Oh,
on the way
okay.
here. And money and credit seems to be such a theme that I feel is almost part of every stand-up that you do.
Yes, it is.
I had Nick Cannon on recently.
Yes.
And we were talking about money, and we were talking about hustling, and we were talking about this and that. And Nick is very rich, way richer than me.
Yes.
I do okay.
Right.
But we both do better than the average.
Yes.
American.
Yes.
Both of us hustle.
Yes.
He said something very interesting. He said, "Not everyone's a hustler. Some people just want to pay bills and die."
If we don't have any employees, we don't have any hustlers.
Right, but I try to push people to aspire for more.
But everybody don't have that in them. Like, some people just want to be the best employee they can possibly be. Some people just want good jobs with good benefits.
Yeah.
Some people want to, pay bills and die.
Yes. It's true.
You agree?
I agree. Like, it's just like I was saying all this week about everybody can't be a boss. Because I always teach in my show entrepreneurship. But I also tell them that some of you are not built to be a boss. So latch on to someone, learn from someone that you can hold a coattail and let them guide you to success.
I think in 2019, the most sort of off, lack of reality situation that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
You have something called gig culture now, right?
What kind of culture?
Gig, G-I-G, gig culture. Meaning Uber driving,
Okay.
Postmates, and there's, Lyft,
Yeah.
there's, DoorDash. There's
Yes.
all these ways for a person to go and get a job
Mm-hmm.
and make some money without traditionally having a boss,
Right.
right? Without going to an office
And that's success.
and doing a 9 to 5.
Yes.
You're saying that's success?
Let me tell you something. You can work and not have a boss. You can sleep past 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and get up when you want to go to work. and you're driving a vehicle, that's a boss, man.
All right, well, I'm going to respectfully disagree, and I'm going to explain why.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, you're technically not a boss unless you have employees. And potentially, and honestly, I would even put an office on top of that. If you don't have an office and employees, you're not a boss. Now, you're an independent contractor, and that's cool.
Yes.
You're an independent contractor, but in order to be a boss, you have to have other people working for you.
Right. And that's
Because-
just being, and what you're saying is right if you're being technical.
Yes.
What I'm saying
Well-
about being the boss is hypothetically, I guess, is my definition of being the boss is I don't have to go in and punch a clock or drive the same way to work every day for 20 years.
I feel you on that.
You feel
And
me?
you are an independent contractor, and you do very well for yourself.
Yes.
You don't have to answer anybody. You go and people reach out to you and book you for shows.
Right.
You reach out to people. You may or may not have a booking agent or a manager or whatever, but it doesn't matter because you are an independent contractor. You work for yourself.
Yes.
You get paid very well for doing these shows.
Yes.
But when you look at people who do Postmates and stuff like that, and I know people like this, they are struggling.
Okay.
Struggling.
Yes, they are. They are.
Doing that, you could work 10 hours a day. You could work 12 hours a day and make very little money.
Yeah.
And unlike a regular job, the longer you work doing Postmates does not give you any level of seniority. It does not raise your salary.
Right.
You do not become a manager. You don't start having people work over you. They don't give you a raise. 5 years later, you're still in the same place that you were 5 years ago. And here's what's worse.
Okay.
If you say one day, man, I am tired of this Postmates Uber bullshit, I'm going to go and apply and get a job to make a little more money. And they look at your resume and say, what have you been doing for the last 5 years? And whatever you've been doing has nothing to do with that job.
Right. Now, it's a flip side to that coin.
Okay?
If you do an Uber Eats and Uber driving and you're making $2,000 a week because you're putting in the hours, and $2,000.
I don't know anyone who makes $2,000.
Oh, I know a
week
couple
doing
make
Uber.
about $2,000 a week, sir.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
I have. How many hours a day do they work?
They have to work a lot,
7 days a week.
7 days a week, but they coming home with $2,000 a week.
Okay, I got it.
So that's $8,000. So my point is, it's a lot of work, but me and you understand what I'm about to say. What's your plan? Where do you go from here? What are you thinking about 8 years from now and 9 years from now, and how are you preparing for it? That's my definition of being a boss. You take that money, put it aside to do something else that you would like to do. That's what I mean, because if you can still work 8, 9, 10 years, that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off. You may not be a boss in the old sense of the world that we came up. You got to have an office building. You got to have employees. It's a new generation out here, and this is why the way these kids move from the weed game is different because they smoke the e-cigarettes compared to cigarettes. You have Uber. We don't have to go get a regular job. You can drive around. You may not have an office building. You may not have employees, but you are the boss of you. And the boss of you is just as awesome because you may have to pay a lot of people. See, that's no disrespect. That's old-fashioned thinking. That's dinosaur thinking. Because I understand what you're saying. I think I'm older than you, but I get it. And you have employees, but to get up and drive a car and move the way you want and work as hard as you want, it takes away stress. I think it helps you to live longer compared to having an employee in your life that hates you at work or eating fucked up food. To me, if you can sleep past 9 o'clock every day on your own terms, you're gonna have a long life.
Yeah. Well, there's two sides to every story.
Yes, sir.
I respect your side. You
Yes, sir.
respect
Yeah,
my
and I respect
side.
yours too. I totally agree.
Yeah. And if you have a long-term plan, great. But
And we know, here's the thing, some do, some don't, but that's everything with people who works in life. Like when I come to like different interviews and I see people, I say, don't you be in here long, because they think they have a job they secure. I'm telling people, don't you be in here long, that don't you sit here just to get a check for the rest of your life and not make moves. Think about the people who you ask, how long you been working here? They say, oh, I've been here 20 years. What? And you never thought about doing something else or becoming part owner of the business or learning the business to go to another level? Just the same thing for 20 years? It's interesting.
Well, yeah, I've had, I mean, over the 12 years I've been running VladTV, I've probably had 100 employees. And for me, my greatest satisfaction is employees who leave who end up doing better and end up stepping up in positions. And I have former employees that now work for Nike. I have one that now works for Combs Enterprises and so forth. And these guys have higher positions and bigger organizations and so forth.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, in the beginning you get a little thrown off because, you know, usually these are your best employees.
Yeah.
These are the people that have been with you for years and
Right.
you trust, and they're great and they do a great job. And you get, you know, in the beginning, you're like, damn, I wish I still had this employee. But when you take a step back, you say, well, damn, they're moving up in the world and they're getting better jobs. I wouldn't say better jobs, but different jobs, but jobs that pay more, jobs in a company that my company can't potentially match and so forth. And I'm definitely happy for them.
Right.
I still keep in contact with a number of them. And it just, for me, it's almost like a family tree. Like the VladTV family tree is growing into different organizations, and I think that's dope.
Yeah, that's important, Vlad. See, so that's what I mean. If they thinking like that, you have to be proud. You gave them an opportunity and it spent off to something else.
You said something interesting. You said that you got these guys out here gangbanging without life insurance. and that really, because I interview so many gangsters.
Right.
And I don't think any one of them said, yeah, when I was at my height, when I was active, when I was doing drive-bys, I made sure my life insurance was great. No one's ever said that.
You know what I mean. You understand what could have happened?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many families would have been set?
Yeah.
See, some people don't get it.
Yeah, yeah. And you talked about some people don't even have funeral insurance. And my father actually just died a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-huh. Please tell me you had insurance.
I don't think he had funeral insurance, but
he had
I'm
insurance.
fine. He had Medicaid and long-term.
No, I mean life insurance.
Life insurance? I don't know.
Because you can have life insurance, right? And the funeral companies know that you have life insurance. They'll still bury you, and when you get your money in 30 days after they give you the death certificate, the insurance company will pay the funeral home.
Yeah, I don't know. I cut a check for like $20,000 for his funeral. I just did it right then and there.
Okay.
I mean, it's my father.
Right, right. Understand.
I talked to my mother. I said, "Do you need help?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, no problem."
Okay, cool. That's good.
I paid for the, you know.
Yeah, you paid what you're supposed to do.
And everything. I paid for everything.
Right.
You know, it's my father.
It's your dad, yo.
That was the least I could do.
Yep, it's your dad.
But you know, you kind of explained how there's a way to do it where you can put $1 million policy on someone, and then when they die, you just have them live off the interest, and then they pass that $1 million down to the next person, and next thing you know, your family, your descendants are all millionaires.
Generational wealth, because I explained to people that one day 200 years will go by. That one day there will be a year 2119, whether you believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You understand. So when I say these stories, sometimes they laugh or they don't get it because they don't look into the future. One day 300 years will go by.
I read a while ago that they said that a person's wealth a lot of times is determined by the length of their plans.
Okay, explain.
the richest people, the billionaires in the world, they're all thinking about hundreds of years in the future beyond their death.
That's right.
Middle class people are thinking a year or two in advance.
Right. So true. I'm glad you said that. Hopefully I'll become
Yeah.
a billionaire.
People who are poor are trying to get to next week.
Yes. Because think about how we think, right? I was telling this to somebody the other day. When you go out in the ocean, you see these big ass yachts. You see the government trying to overthrow other governments and how they will kill for power that we have no idea how it feels. How they knocked down the World Trade Center for power. That we can't even comprehend what even happened because our mindsets are not even on that level. Here we got to think about millions of dollars, and you got people thinking of billions, trillions, owning countries, owning the oil, the power. And one thing I teach people now, I explain to them, remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen, the government pimps the state pimps the city pimps its people. Period.
Yeah. I recently, because right now there's all the protests that are happening in Hong Kong, and China's trying to control Hong Kong, and Hong Kong doesn't want to be controlled. So there's
Right.
riots, there's people getting shot, there's police officers getting beat up, and whatever else. And I was trying to figure out why China is so adamant about not letting Hong Kong do what it wants to do. And I read something that totally changed my whole understanding.
Wow,
of the
let me hear this.
situation. Well, China is a communist country, right? So there are no elections.
All right.
There's the cabinet, right? There's the cabinet, and all of the Chinese politicians that are part of the Communist Party all sit on this cabinet, and they make decisions along with the Chinese president,
Okay.
or whatever they call him. In the Chinese cabinet are over 100 billionaires.
What?
Yes.
I never knew that.
There is not a single billionaire that I know of that is in the U.S. government system.
Absolutely not.
Donald Trump is not a billionaire.
No.
Let's see how much Donald Trump is worth. Trump.
If they have it right.
Okay, I'm wrong. He's worth $3.1 billion.
That's what, no. Because they never seen his taxes. That's what the big
They've
argument
never seen
about.
his taxes. Okay. There is one billionaire that I know of in the U.S. government
Right.
now. And matter of fact, I believe he was probably the first billionaire in government. But if you look at all the congressmen and everything else like that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of millionaires.
Right.
But there are no billionaires.
Right.
So I realized if there are 100 billionaires in the communist system of China, you aren't changing a goddamn thing.
You're not.
It's going to stay exactly how it is
That's right.
for the foreseeable 100 or 200 years.
Yes.
They are not giving up shit.
They're not giving them nothing. I agree with you.
Speaking of money, probably one of the biggest things that's happening on VladTV right now in terms of controversy and everything is this.
Okay.
On September 28th, I was sitting in my house, and I started thinking about reparations. I started thinking about how the Jews got reparations, how the Japanese got reparations, how the Native American got reparations. And I'm like, how the hell do African Americans not have gotten reparations by this time?
Right.
So I did a tweet. I said, I fully support reparations for African Americans, possibly in the form of a free college education. And every people, like just literally thousands of people started tweeting me angry that I would actually bring up college education as a form of reparation.
What do they think you should have said?
Well, they said, no, we need money, we need land, we need businesses, we want everything that everyone else got. And I said, listen, I actually support all that too. I believe it would be great if every black person in America who was a descendant, of a slave got $1 million, or got 100 acres of land, or got, didn't have to pay taxes or whatever else. I just don't think it's realistic in 2019 because 70% of the U.S. population is against reparations.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
Whereas education, number one, I said possibly in the form of education, but it turned into a whole thing. I was introduced to a group called ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves.
Right.
And their leaders started all attacking me and started telling me that I need to just shut up. And since I'm an immigrant, I can't even speak on this topic. And the U.S.
Well, here's how. Let me speak on it. Okay. I see what you've done. Because we're not going to get land. They're not going to give us money. But it's a possibility they'll give our children a free education. And if we can get a free education, we could take that and run with it for the next generation. Because education is priceless.
Yes.
And I get it. I don't know why they didn't get it. Because some people listen to respond, not listen to comprehend. I listen to comprehend. And what you said, I got it from the beginning. Wow, if I can get my kids a free education and they go into a good school and I just saved myself what, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, that is a form of reparation. It's just that what I'm hearing is that people want the money in their hand to do what they want to do. And you should have that right compared to all the other nationalities that got it, but I'll take it anyway.
Well, yeah, because I actually looked it up. A person in America with a college education over the course of their lifetime will make $1 million more than someone with a high school education.
I'll take it all day.
Now, people are going to say, oh, but that doesn't apply to black people. That doesn't apply to this or that. Yeah, there are some disparities along the way, but I could tell you as someone who has hired literally about 100 people, when I look at a resume, the first thing I go to is where do they go to college?
Right.
What was their degree?
Right.
What was their GPA?
Right.
How seriously did they take it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. My last assistant went to Howard.
Right.
Top HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
He was incredible. He was great. My new assistant also went to a top HBCU.
Right.
I've had people that have gone to Yale. Not Yale. Gone to Columbia.
Yes.
I've had people you see people who took that seriously, and you see the caliber of the work that they do is very impressive.
It makes a difference.
Someone with a high school, now, granted, people with high school educations are dope as well, but you need that experience to make up for the fact that you didn't go to college.
Right.
A lot of times.
Right.
And sometimes you can't even get to step one.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, and it was crazy to me how much people just told me to shut up.
Yeah, but you have a love-hate relationship in the streets. And when I give my opinion to people, I say, yo, Vlad is one of the coolest motherfuckers on earth, yo. But I let people say what they say because of lack of education, lack of knowledge. And I just go for there. I leave it alone.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Because you have how many kids?
I have 5.
5 kids. Did they go to college?
One went to college. Everybody else is still children.
Okay.
But the 2 girls are going. And that's coming right up. And shit, you let me get. I can always use a little help.
Well, right. Because people, the argument was, well, what about my 80-year-old grandmother? And it's like, well, it's not designed for this generation.
Right.
It's designed for the future.
We missed it.
Reparations is not designed to help the people right now. It's designed to take a group of people and to elevate them for the future.
Right.
And to make them, and to even out the playing field, which honestly, because of slavery and the bullshit in America, is not an even playing field right now.
Yes. It sure isn't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put, believe it or not, in my show, I'm going to put that in there. I'll start putting in reparations and explain it from what we just talked about as well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, listen, I don't care. You could attack me and call me this and call me that. I don't care. My point is to bring the reparations conversation to the forefront.
Yep.
Because when people say, well, you're a Ukrainian immigrant, you can't speak about this. Do you really think that when it comes down to the reparations, a small group of reparations fighters are going to get together and come up with a number and hand that number over to the president, and he's going to go ahead and sign that over?
The only thing that's great here that I love is that you brought it to people's attention and you get people to, even if they disagree, guess what? You got them talking, Vlad.
That's what I do.
You got them talking. That's what I do on my Instagram. I put stuff out and I leave it alone just to get people communicating with each other. And I'm gone. Y'all handle it. But I do what I do.
Well, historically in America, it seemed like white people held the title for being the deadliest serial killers.
Who has it now?
A black guy named Samuel Little, who
What
has
happened?
confessed. He had confessed to 93 murders.
What?
Yeah.
I missed that. I must have been so busy. I missed that on the news and the internet.
Samuel Little, 60 Minutes did a special about him. Older guy, looks like about in his 70s or 80s or something like that. And he's already in prison for a couple of murders. And he has this weird photographic memory where he doesn't like forget anything.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked him, because he's already doing life, so it kind of doesn't matter at this point. They asked him to help him out on his other murders, and he literally started drawing out. It was all women, basically. It was mostly prostitutes, like a lot of white prostitutes as well. He started literally drawing out these women's faces and started giving all the actual details about what happened. And so far, he's confessed to 93 murders.
And see, if he was white, it would have made national news.
Well, it was national news. Like,
it was?
60 Minutes. Yeah.
Okay, I missed it then. Yeah, I missed it.
So, I guess we don't got the title anymore. We lost it.
You lost the title. About time y'all lost something. Shit. You're winning at everything else, damn it. Yeah, so you know I have a special coming out.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Well, this is what I did. Remember last time it was supposed to came out, we was going to do Netflix and Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon wanted 45%, and you know I ain't doing that. So I was convinced to start my own network. So I want people, when you hear about this, go to my network, tk.network on my site, on my IG. My special drops on the 15th. You can pre-order it now, which I think is going to be amazing. You're going to really see some great stand-up. It's going to have you cringe. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you think. I got Baby in it, Lil Wayne, Extasation. It's just a great look. All these guys came through to support the stand-up of my life, to put it out there. Then you could also go on my Instagram and see me on all the shows that I'm doing. Thanks to Vlad, the Breakfast Club, the TK Kirkland podcast, how everybody's just embracing the world according to TK, or the TK Kirkland movement out here. Longview, Texas. November 9th, you can check it out on my IG. Caroline's on Broadway. Warm Daddies coming up in October. Just go to my site. You'll see all the dates, because what the great Vlad does is our interview is spread out over time. So I don't want to give the dates and you miss it. Just TK Kirkland _ go to Instagram, see the dates, and the day that it airs, you can see if I came to your city, or I'm about to come to your city, or if I'm coming back to your city. And you just come see a comedian that's different in this game, and I just love it. So November 15th is the special dropping. Go to tk.network to go to my site to pull up dates, my clothing line, my TK Kirkland merch with the Who Raised Your hoodies. I got blankets, shower curtains, backpacks. I be doing my thing.
I remember when I was listening to one of your specials this morning.
Yes.
And you were talking about how men would invite women to their house and they don't have a bedroom set. They got a mattress on the floor.
On the floor.
And then and this is what killed me. You said, and they got a towel over their window pretending to be a curtain.
Pretending to be a curtain. When you, like I said, when you come see the show, you're gonna love it. And it's so much to those jokes. It's so much that to hear it on YouTube, to hear it on your phone or whatever you play it on, the live experience is truly, truly amazing. And I just love, and usually I give people their money's worth. It's usually like an hour and 30 minutes, hour 40. It's awesome.
Well, recently, because you talked about in your specials about men who basically lose it with women. They kill the woman, they kill themselves.
Ooh,
and kill
exactly.
the guy that's cheating on the woman,
Yes,
and just
yes.
like and so forth. We recently had a female artist on our show named Ruby Rose,
Uh-huh.
and she was involved with this rapper named Playboy Cardi, who's one of the really hot rappers right now. But at the time, he was still kind of up and coming. And she talked about how he was like leaving town and she didn't want him to leave, so she hid his phones. So he couldn't find his phones.
Right.
And he got so angry that he took a gun and started shooting his gun off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he would go to your house.
He would come to my house, and I lived in the hood in Pittsburgh, and like people would shoot all the time, and he would like shoot off my balcony. But then like one time, we got in a little argument because I hid his phones before his flight, and it just was like we were outside. He like, it wasn't directly at me, it was just more like
Okay, so before
in the
this
vicinity.
incident,
Wow.
and then his lawyers tried to get the video taken down. It didn't work. And then Interscope Records tried to get the video taken down. It didn't work because it was a true story.
Right, right.
She really was in a relationship with this guy at one point. And at one point, they got into it at like an airport, and he got arrested for like battery or something, getting rough with her or some shit like that. What do you think, from your point of view, because you talk about this so much in your specials,
Yes.
what makes men lose it with women and start getting violent and doing these types of things?
That's a great question, and so many levels to a man's psyche, right? It's based on his environment, based on who raised him, based on what people he hang with, based on if this girl emotionally has him connected. It's so many levels. The thing that I would tell any man that's listening to this, and female, is no matter what, we all get jealous, we all have rage, we all are haters. The go between the people who don't do it and the people who do it is we know how to control our emotions, and we know how to train our thoughts to be better people. Because some people just snap. You got hypocrites. You got men that'll fuck everybody, and if their girl just suck a dick, and that man would lose it, not knowing like, damn, you know what? I did fuck everybody. Or I cheated on her and I have 2 babies. And then you got women who will cheat on men and the man can't handle it. Or women who cheat on nice guys and the man is scorned for life. So to put this in a way people can truly understand, please, ladies and gentlemen, control your emotions, discipline. And if you don't believe me, whatever city you live in, go down to the courthouse on Monday, park your car, if you can find a parking space, and walk in where domestic violence is. Walk into the courts where somebody just murdered somebody that weekend over jealousy. And you will see like you was going to a DaBaby concert or a Drake concert because someone didn't control their emotion. Crazy story.
In your one special, you said something really, really interesting. You said that you used to fly women out until you realized that there were women there already. So why would you fly someone out if you already got the same thing there?
That's so true. Because see, when we was coming up, right? And sometimes, don't get me wrong, as a player, you want to bring for sure pussy with you, so you don't have to try to meet somebody. But what I learned in life is you control yourself, go by yourself. If you meet somebody, you meet somebody. And if you want to bring somebody with you, then just be good to that person. My definition of it, since I have been single mostly all my life, most relationships pretty much didn't really work out because I'm so busy. I realized why spend $200, $300, $400 to fly someone out, another $2,000 to $3,000 for a hotel room. You got to have a nice car. You got to eat at a nice restaurant where you can meet somebody there and cut. It's a business. You could save a few $100 or a few thousand and meet somebody there. Then, if you meet somebody that really got it going on, you say, hey, yeah, I'm going to Aruba. Let me pay for your ticket. I know women that say, I don't want you to pay for my ticket. I'll pay for my own ticket. Like, well, let me pay for something. So I got the hotel, and we go shop, and we go eat. And the girl flies us up there. So now in my life, if I invite somebody somewhere and they say they can't make it, and they go, well, I can't make it. When they do the they think that you're going to say, oh, I got you. No, what I do now is I say, this flight's not for you. This trip's not for you. When I get down there, I'll go Instagram Live or Facebook and cover the grounds, and maybe over the weekend I can motivate you to get a ticket to come down and join me.
Yeah, this trip is not for you.
This trip's not for you.
You can't fly yourself out.
You can't fly yourself out. This trip's not for you.
This trip is not for you. And you have, it's interesting because you have 5 kids.
Yes.
How old were you when you first started having kids?
27.
27.
Yes.
Too Short just had his first child at 52.
I thought that was amazing. Because to me, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
And he truly was a player. He really enjoyed his life. And I guarantee you, he's going to be a great dad.
His pullout game must be on a whole different
A whole nother level. A whole nother level. Because I know Too Short. We all started together, matter of fact. He was the opening act with me on tour with NWA.
Right.
Yeah, it was me, him, Public Enemy was on that tour, and believe it or not, Kid and Play.
Okay.
How Kid and Play get on that motherfucker? I don't know, but Kid and Play was on there.
Well, there weren't a lot of rap groups back then.
Right.
That's what it was. It
Yes.
was like, okay.
Yeah,
it's
Kid
a
and Play
much,
was on there.
because I've said that the 80s is the greatest era ever in music except for hip hop. Because there was just not a lot of hip hop back then.
Right, that's so true compared to now. God damn.
Compared to now, or I mean, even compared to the 90s. By
Yes.
that time the 90s rolled around, it started becoming like a mainstream form of music. In the 80s, I honestly feel that a lot of the corporations felt like it might still be a passing phase.
Right.
Okay, yeah, it's hot right now, but
Let me
5
tell you, I was
years-
on them shows. I hear the promoters talking. And that's why, believe it or not, I got banned when I was on tour with NWA, believe it or not. They thought I was worse than the group.
Right.
Isn't that something? I made in Cincinnati, Ohio. I made the 11 o'clock news with Eazy-E and all them standing behind me. I was the star that night, getting banned.
Well, right. Remember, I was watching Netflix. I was thumbing through like Netflix movies
Yes.
a couple weeks ago, and it came up, like a picture came up. It was like Hip Hop
Revolution.
Chronicles, Hip Hop Revolution.
Yes.
And there was a picture with who was on that picture?
Dr.
Hold on a
Dre,
second.
Eazy-E,
Right.
and Too Short and me.
And you.
Isn't that? I told you, man, I did my thing, yo.
And you. And then I remember since last time, someone sent me a clip to the DOC's music video for Funky Enough.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is probably, the NWA crew is there. This is probably a DJ I didn't know about or
Right.
whatever, security. And here you are in the Funky Enough video, a video that I've been watching since it came out.
Yes, sir. That's me dancing and weaving, doing my thing. That's me. And I'm also in Express Yourself video. I'm the reporter in that.
Oh.
You
I
ever
didn't
see
know
Express
that.
Yourself video? You're gonna see me I'm the reporter interviewing Eazy.
Wow. And you were in the Window Shopper video?
I was in the shop with 50 Cent. Yep.
What else? What am I forgetting?
I got thousands of them. Timbaland's album. I did the interludes, the skits on Timbaland's album back in the day. AMG, Bitch Better Have My Money.
Oh, wait. Bitch Better Have My Money?
Remember the song Bitch Better Have My Money?
Absolutely, that was a huge hit.
I'm on that album too.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's been like I said. I used to just walk. I have no agent. I just used to walk up to. I remember walking up to Teddy Riley and Guy and tour with Guy back in the day. I remember one of my other great memories is touring with Ludacris. Shout out to Luda. We was on a world tour, and I remember us getting to Vegas, and I couldn't find a promoter to pay me my money. And Luda had just pulled up in the limo and on the bus, and I said, Luda, I can't find a promoter. And Luda did not do that show until them people paid me my money. Love that.
Well, I interviewed DOC, and me and him actually still keep in contact.
Yes.
That was one of the most, I just say, heartbreaking stories.
Yes, it was.
Because were you and DOC close at all or not really?
Yeah, not only were we close, we were roommates on tour.
Aha. Okay.
Yes. He just came to see me in my show in Dallas about a month ago. He missed the show, but he still came because he had his daughter. But that was our first time seeing each other since 1988.
Yeah, DOC is a dope person. People don't realize how big he is in person.
Yeah, he's a tall guy.
He's like 6'4" or something.
Yep, he really is.
He's huge.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, and fairly stocky as well.
You're right.
And I remember when I interviewed him, like, he told me the story about the accident, the night of the accident.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in his, I guess, Mercedes or something, stone drunk.
Yeah, that sound like him.
And he was a really heavy drinker.
Yes, he was.
Back then. Him and Suge were out there terrorizing the nightclubs in LA,
right,
getting kicked out. He talked about how he'd be in there with Suge, and people wouldn't realize Suge was with him, so he would go and like grab a girl's titty, and the boyfriend would turn around and be upset, not realizing Suge is standing right next to him, and Suge would just punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And that's what they would do.
Yeah, Suge was something else.
Yeah. And the cops pulled him over, and he had a bunch of his plaques in his back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And when they realized who he was, they took pictures with him and let him go.
But they caught me, they pulled me over, and I was in such a good mood, I just started telling them jokes, and it bugged them out, and they laughed, and we kicked it,
They knew who you were?
No, but they knew who NWA was. They saw the records in the back seat.
You had the gold records?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you actually took pictures with the cops?
Yeah, with the records, bro. Yeah, it was funny, and they let me go.
And then he fell asleep behind the wheel and went to the windshield and tore his throat up. And then he was so anxious to get back to do music that he went and had another operation, even though all the doctors told him not to do it, to remove the scar tissue, which actually made the whole thing worse.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Essentially permanent. And because that DOC album that Funky Enough was on
there.
is a classic.
When I used to bring him on, I used to introduce him. Legendary. It was awesome, God. But I'm glad he's alive. That would have been a horror story.
Well, not only is he alive, but he ended up utilizing his writing skills.
Yes.
To make more classic albums. He
Yes.
wrote on the Chronic,
Yep, he
Doggy
sure did.
Style, 2001. He really continued to contribute at the highest level.
Yes,
even
he
though
did.
he himself could now vocalize it.
Right. And shout out to DOC. I love you for life, man. Thank you for coming out to the show a couple months ago.
I remember, we were talking about Suge. Faison Love talked about how Cat Williams pulled out a gun on him.
Right.
Cat Williams.
Oh, that was Cat Williams. You took the gun out of his hand.
Otis, he put the gun on the floor, and Otis took the gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he went and got another. He went and got another gun.
He went and got a rifle, like an army rifle, like with not a. There's no clip in it, but you don't know. It's ridiculous. Like You're a comedian. What are you doing? What are you doing?
And he also said that when he was with Suge, when they saw him, Cat Williams said, "There you go, kill him."
I can believe it. But believe it or not, the flip side of Suge is really a nice guy, everybody. Suge was my bodyguard. Matter of fact, Suge was my bodyguard and the DLC on the NWA tour. It's just that money, something must have hit him in the head in the middle of the night. And he just changed. I can't explain it.
28 years.
Yeah, that's what it got him.
28 years.
28 years, man.
For someone who was on top of the world.
On top.
On the very top. The hottest record label in the world.
In the world. I'm talking about on
with
the top.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac at the same time. And now you're in a 10x10 cell eating shitty food.
Yes.
Surrounded by men.
Yes.
24 hours
And
a
let's
day.
hope and pray, like O.J. Simpson, Suge could come out here and change his life and be playing golf on a tennis court one day, and we'll be laughing at this story because he changed his fucking life. I will wish that for that brother, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I think we all can come back from something and change, because not too many people get it, Vlad. And I'm going to tell people a story, and I want y'all to remember what I'm saying. When you go to jail and you're doing a short period of time, it's your time to change your life. I call it being reborn. I don't know too many people who've achieved it when they came back out because they allowed themselves in jail and then get out and go back to doing the same thing that they used to do. But the only motherfucker that got it, and I could prove it to everybody who's listening, is the great Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane went to prison, came out with a new body, new texture of hair, new skin, and looked better than half the people that have been on the street when he was away. So I salute that brother for being reborn and changing his life and doing the right thing. You don't see no problems out of him, not fighting anybody, other than what happened on the thing the other day with Angela Yee and all them. But I hope that they'll get past that and move forward. But other than that, he's a great story of how you can be reborn.
Oh, yeah. And I think a lot of that came from his wife.
Yes, no matter how it happens, as long as you understand it, that when your feet touch that ground, when you come out, you do the right thing.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, the other day I was talking to Reggie Wright Jr., who was, you know who that is, right?
Yes.
That was the head of Death Row Security.
Yes.
What's today? Thursday? He's actually going in to prison today.
For what?
Basically, he was involved in some marijuana deals. Can you say what you admitted to?
Sales of marijuana.
Marijuana.
Marijuana, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Sales of marijuana. That's it.
And
That's it.
we're living in a state where marijuana is legal.
Exactly.
That he should not have been involved in.
Right.
At one point, he had a legal marijuana dispensary, and that shut down, and he continued to do stuff on the side that he was not supposed to do. He got caught. He's going to do 1.5 years.
Okay, that's not too bad, but shit.
It's not too bad. I mean, he is, I believe, in his 50s now.
So that's a lot of time in your 50s.
Yeah. And what I told him was that, hey, man, look, 1.5 years, I mean, that is 1.5 years out of your life. Let's just not say that that's nothing. That is a significant period of time, but use that time to do things that you probably don't have time to do when you're out. You don't have a job. Well, you know, you don't have to go do a podcast. You don't have to go pay your bills. You don't have to go do things with other people. You could sit down and read some books for the first time.
Right.
You could read you could catch up on all your reading. You can come out as a better person if you actually utilize your time.
Right. Well, you understand. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. Yep. Well, TK Kirkland, it is always a pleasure.
Vlad, see where this
Always a
takes us this
pleasure.
time, huh?
Yep.
We'll
And,
see what happens in another 6 months. You know, I
Right.
normally come once a year for people to understand. I see all the other people come, and I think this year I might come back on twice. I try every other year I'll do twice, and this year coming I'll come back on twice.
Okay.
I just want everyone to remember great people, Vlad, all the people who helped me get my show, how I walked down the street and so many people approached me about, out of all the things I do, Vlad, it's Vlad that people say, I love your Vlad interviews. So shout out to you, shout out to the fans. Please go to my site, tk.network, to pre-order the comedy special. You can see all my tour dates. You can hit it right on the link. It'll take you right to get your tickets. I'm getting ready to shoot my next special in Detroit, Michigan, Thanksgiving weekend for next year. I'm calling it T to the motherfucking K, T to the MFK. And if Eddie Murphy drops his special next year, I'm dropping my special the same fucking day. Just to let
That's what it
everybody know.
is.
Huh?
That's what it is. Yeah, head to
Yeah,
head
I'm gonna
with
drop
Eddie
it the
Murphy.
same day.
Why not?
I'm gonna drop
Why
it the
not?
same day.
There we go.
It's just the
TK
competitive.
Kirkland.
It's just the competition in me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nothing
If you
wrong with
don't
friendly
feel-
competition.
Let me put it like this. People always criticize when other people say things like this, but you should feel that you're better than Eddie Murphy. You should feel you're better than Dave Chappelle and
That's
all
right.
them. Just like I feel when I do interviews, I'm better than everybody.
Well, you are better than everybody, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm gonna share something to the world about when people say they want to be famous. I want to be on TV and I want to do movies. And let's take your situation. And I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. VladTV is a very success story. You see his interviews like Johnny Carson, like the late TV host shows, on your phone or your computer. He has a place in Malibu, has this beautiful place in New York City that he pays hundreds of thousands, ladies and gentlemen. He's not on NBC network. He's not on HBO. He's not on Showtime. He created his own lane. He has his own network. I want everybody to understand what I mean. So if you can do Uber Eats or Uber, save, get you some cameras, get you some equipment, and realize success is not in one day. Like Nipsey Hussle would say, it's a marathon. As us old school guys would say, it's long term. It takes you have to put the work in to get the results. If you can follow that, that's success. You have your own lane, and you don't have to put shows together to send it to NBC or Paramount and say help. Am I right or wrong, Vlad?
100%. 100%. I have had so many talks with networks and production companies and everything else like that. And I think why it's never happened is because, unlike everyone else, if the initial meeting is not a home run, I just keep it moving because I don't really care.
You don't care.
I'm not going to keep coming back trying to pitch something to them because I've produced TV shows like American Gangster, and I know that it's not a lot of money and it's zero residuals. And I remember Suge Knight said this in some interview. He said, in his experience, most artists want to be famous and have enough money to pay their bills. With me, I don't want to be famous and want a lot of money. I want way more money than to pay my bills.
Exactly.
It's
and
the
so
opposite.
congratulations, Vlad. Congratulations to any person that understands the theory that I just put out there in the universe. Follow that. Stack your money. Have a plan. Stay away from the women. Get that money, yo, and take care of your health. I'm 95 years old. Look at me.
You don't look a day over 94.
Vlad, I love you, my man. May your pain be
Love you too.
champagne. Salute.
That's what it is.
Yes, sir.
Peace.